Good morning and welcome to this Thursday Thought. Well, we've lived in our current home for about 18 years or so, which, in case you don't know yet, backs up to the west side of Pawnee Prairie Park in West Wichita. That park is over 1.5 miles long and about 1 mile wide. Kellogg is the north side of the park. The south edge is well beyond Pawnee Street, which does not, by the way, cut into the park. To the east is Tyler Road and the airport, and to the west, the park goes to just east of Mays Road. The Cowskin Creek runs through the middle of the park, and there are several walking and riding paths in the park, some of which are paved and really easy to find and enjoy, and then there are others that are more inside the park, in the woods, sometimes in the thick of the woods. Those paths that are inside the woods are many and varied, most of them connecting or crossing in some way with one or more other paths. Now, I've walked most all of the paths in that park in these last 18 or so years. I know where they commence and I know where they end or connect with another path. I can take you on these paths to areas of the park where you think you're miles away from any civilization. No signs, no paved paths, no visual clues as to where you are or what direction you're facing. There are no homes, no vehicles, no other people are visible or are heard. Well, I've taken my grandkids into the park on those inside pathways on numerous occasions. Now, they enjoy exploring them, and they'll stop at each of the intersection of pathways and ask me which way to go. Sometimes I tell them directly, take this path or that path, and other times I'll let them choose because I know where each path goes and I know that we will eventually arrive at the place where I want to end up. We can walk for 20, 25, 30 minutes or so, and we will, because I know where the pathways go, eventually arrive at a place inside the park where some paths cross that are seemingly very far from any sign of civilization. Now, that place is a favorite of mine, one that I know very well. At that spot, you would never know unless you could see the sun, hear an aircraft take off from the airport, or hear Kellogg traffic, which is rare. You would never know where you were or which path to take if you wanted to exit the park. Well, I do know. And I also know that at that place in the park that seems so far away from any sign of civilization, I know that we're only about 3 minutes from our backyard. The path to our backyard is one that is strewn with fallen tree limbs, dead branches. It's one of the more difficult paths in the park because of all the debris along the way. Yet, and this is important, the place where we're standing at that path crossing, deciding which path to take, that place is only about 3 minutes away from our backyard if we take the right path. That right path, strewn with obstacles, will get us to the house and to civilization within a very few short minutes. So, why do I tell you this? Well, let's look at a lesson in life or two. We may be in the middle of what we think in our lives is a no-win situation. No way out, no compass to guide us, no help to get us to a better place. We may look around and see nothing but darkness and obstacles. We don't know which direction to go when presented with several possible paths. We can't, figuratively speaking, see the sun to get our bearings or hear the aircraft take off from the nearby airport so that we'll have some idea where we are. We are lost. However, in reality, we may well be only a couple of minutes away, so to speak, from that better place in life. The path there may have down tree trunks and branches galore, as it were, but if we trust someone we know who knows the way and we take that path that they suggest, we may well break out into the sunshine very shortly. Now, if you get the drift of my words, please don't think that I'm equating myself here with God as someone who can lead you out of your predicament. I just happen to be one in my story that I've just told who knows where the paths go and where we are in the park. I know that I myself have called on God more than once while actually in the park when dusk has fallen more quickly than I expected. And I wasn't just real sure I could see those landmarks that I needed in order to maintain my bearings. I've never been lost in the park, but I've had some, shall we say, stressful minutes as I made my way out with, I believe, God's guidance. And I certainly have called on Him in life's trials and tribulations, not knowing where to take that next step, not knowing what direction and what decision to make, not knowing how it's going to turn out, unable to see the landmarks that tell me where to go. And much of the time, as I look back in life, I see things that didn't turn out as I thought they would or should. But we usually ended up in a better place, better than what I would have found had I not listened to the one who sees the beginning and the end. God's pathway out was sometimes a difficult one, but it was the right one. Well, I don't know what you're going through right now. It could be financial difficulty, it could be medical, relational, vocational, school-related, or one of any number of difficult situations. But often, if we will just, as the old saying goes, let go and let God, we may find that obstacle-strewn path to be the one that will actually bring us to a better place and a better time. It's that letting go that's difficult. It's giving up control, giving up trying to finagle, a word I like to use, things so that they'll turn out as we think they ought. Our God is willing and able to give you a pathway out. His path out may be His telling you, my grace is sufficient for you, and then allowing that difficulty to refine and purify you for a time. Or it may be some kind of direct intervention to relieve you of your difficult situation. I've had both of those answers in my days here on earth. But God is always, always faithful. Even in the middle of great trial, God is faithful. God is good. Look for His path out, even if it appears to be a path to nowhere that's strewn with all kinds of obstacles. Look to His path instead of trying to find your own obstacle-free pathway, because God sees it all. He knows the best way forward. Blessings.